What's up, everyone? We've got another awesome episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, and today we've got Dan, we've got Jimothy, and we've got another spectacular guest. Introduce yourself, please, bro.
What's going on with you guys? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your day, phenomenal. But if it isn't, of course, never let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin your day. I am the Cali Effect King of Games. You can find me on YouTube on separate channels, Master Duel Cali and the Cali Effect King of Games. You can also find me on the TikToker, but more importantly, you can follow me on Twitter, which is at Cali Effect. At Cali Effect. I had to make sure.
Lovely. Bro, this is such a huge honor. Thank you for coming on. And you know what, guys? I'm actually going to go in. That's reminding me of my first question, which is, look, Cali, I don't know if you know, I don't know if it's an intentional thing, but I would say you're probably one of the most positive people on YouTube that I've seen. Like, that mentality, that whole mantra of, don't let what bothered you in the beginning of your day affect the rest of your day. I mean, bro, that's legendary, and it's quite cool to have that mantra. So it's like, where did that start, and what was the mentality behind that kind of brought that into your Yu-Gi-Oh personality, your YouTube personality?
Well, I mean, that's who I am. Give you a little bit of context. I'm from Watts. If you guys don't know where Watts is, growing up, I thought, in a lot of people in that area, you guys know of Compton, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Compton is like, you got to have money to live in Compton. Like, it's actually a nice area. Like, that's where the rich people go in our eyes growing up. So I grew up very, 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 very poor. And I grew up through a lot of disorder and chaos. And so I always said to myself when I was growing up through those hard times that shit ain't gonna last forever. And as I got older, I started to realize that all problems are like that. And no matter what you do, whatever happens in the beginning, it really doesn't matter. It's really how you finish.
Yeah,
Also, there was a football game where I dropped like 3 passes and then caught the game-winning touchdown pass, and that's when I knew it was it.
Loved it. Yeah, that's another thing as well. Yeah, because So I don't. If you guys aren't aware, one of the things that, and I think one of the first videos that I saw of you was you talking about how you had rheumatoid arthritis, and like.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. That John was crazy,
bro. Your journey with that has been a madness. Like the fact that like even I can't remember when, but recently you released. I don't know if it's recently, maybe it's a few months ago. You released a video and you were like booking it down a pitch, and I was like, this is mad. Like I was expecting you to just be like sitting down and not walking around, but the fact that you've gone from like getting that diagnosis, having all of that pain, to doing that, bro, that's levels.
Yeah, man. It's the same thing, man. You know, I always prided myself in being really, really healthy, and unfortunately, rheumatoid arthritis isn't like something that you get like because of you're unhealthy or something. It's genetics. So when that first big scare and the doctor came down and I couldn't walk and she was like, yo, you have RA. I was like, all right, I mean, we're at the lowest point. Now, what can we do to not let it affect the rest of our lives? And just got to work, just lifting more, researching, started eating correctly. And more importantly, just cut off the foods that were, giving me triggers. And like you said, I mean, what is it? Running the pitch? I'm not
booking it. Sorry. Yeah.
Booking.
The UK slang, isn't it?
The UK slang is very interesting, but you can be out there doing that thing because that's what we do. So.
Can I just ask what was your source of strength? Because I know there's certain things and there's certain people that I turn to when I need a bit of like inspiration. But was there anybody in particular that you turned to, or a certain like ritual that you kind of like did to kind of like mentally prepare yourself for like the days ahead, or appointments or anything like that?
So like, not to offend anybody that's like religious, but I grew up very Christian, like extremely. And so when this happened, I started praying and all that other stuff. And I was like, this shit's whack. I'm not going to do this. This ain't doing nothing for me. So really, I started to look at my wife. And my wife, she has a couple of medical issues herself. And just like noticing that she wouldn't allow things to just, like she would be in pain from time to time for certain, things. I think she just had foot surgery or something like that. And it would just be like, okay, whatever, what are we going to do? And I'm like, dang, how can I be like that? Let me be an OG like that. So definitely she was my biggest inspiration after realizing that prayer is not going to do this for me.
So it's funny, yeah.
good.
Oh, sorry. Someone else want to go in? Yeah, because
No,
so, for example, I am religious, but what I'd say is funny is about that is that like, yeah, I definitely understand that because I think early on for me, that was probably one of the difficulties. I came in the mentality of just like let me just pray and hope that fixes it. But it's like there's a certain level of personal responsibility you have to have in your life. Like, what are you going to
Strength from within, right?
Yeah, that's definitely
and in the situation that I'm from, a lot of my my people, they believe that, if you just pray, it'll go. Like anything that happens that's good to you, it's because you prayed, and anything that happens is bad to you, it's because of the other force trying to pull you down. So when you do get caught up into stuff like that and you allow that to become your reality, you actually can't change anything about your life. And like you said, you have to have that commitment to making yourself better. Not saying that prayer doesn't help. Maybe meditation and prayer helps for other people, but for me, it was just like, yo, we gotta do something. We grown.
I think it's so inspirational, like the way that you talked so openly about something that a lot of people would be really scared about, like those health scares and things like that. And the fact that you put it into your YouTube videos as well, I think it really helps. Well, from a viewer's perspective, anyway, it really helped me like understand your life as like a person. Like, it really did make me like become invested in who you are as opposed to just a creator. But I think that's really important what you touched on about like drawing strength from other people as well. Like, I know that there's been people that I've turned to and I've been in having health troubles and things like that, and like looking for almost like a sign of I have to keep going and things like that. So bringing that back to Yu-Gi-Oh, in terms of how your Yu-Gi-Oh YouTube career started, were there any similar times like that where you felt like you felt like giving it up or anything like that and felt like packing it in, and then you just had a sort of maybe like a moment of clarity or anything like that, and it was like, no, I just need to push forward because I want to do this or whatever reason? Because for those who don't know, Cali Effect is one of the most subscribed channels on YouTube. At last count, I did quickly look this morning, but I forgot, and I believe it was around 135, 140,000. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't even know. Couldn't even tell you.
But it's a big number, right? Like, that's a number that a lot of people aspire to get to, and a lot of people wouldn't even dream of getting that in particularly a Yu-Gi-Oh environment. So like, talk us a little bit through your YouTube journey, man.
Okay, so like getting into Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm assuming we want to know like the content creation side, right? So
but
I was
really.
actually, what's up?
Both really, like just how those kind of intertwined.
Oh, definitely. So I always knew that I was gonna be in behind the camera. I didn't know exactly what. Ever since I was a child, I would play with like camcorders and stuff like that. You remember the big ones with the little cassette things, I'd break them down and fix them and stuff like that. I do stuff with VCRs. And then as I got older, I took a lot of screenwriting. I took drama classes, theater classes. Don't know why. I just wound up being in those classes. It wasn't like, hey, what class do you want? It was just like almost every year from like my 6th grade, which is secondary school. Is that no? I don't know what you guys call it.
6th grade. How old were you in 6th grade?
I was like, had to be like 10, maybe.
It would be like a year 5. It would be like end of primary school for us. End of primary school.
Elementary. It would be elementary, wouldn't it?
Okay, like right after elementary. Yeah. So like 5th grade all the way to like 12th grade, I had some type of theater class, and it wasn't like, I wanted it. It just always wound up on my schedule where it became a second choice. I've taken broadcast journalism classes. I've done concerts, like actually performed at concerts. So I always knew that I was going to be like in front of a camera. And so what really got me into it was my 3rd job. I got fired from Walmart. I got fired from McDonald's. Then I got fired from Nike. And I thought Nike was going to be like the job. You know what I mean? Like, it's Nike. And so I'm like, you know what? Maybe this working for somebody just ain't for me. I'm just gonna slang these Yu-Gi-Oh cards on the block. I'm gonna sell these cards, and then I'm just gonna make YouTube videos because that's hot. And then that's how I wound up here. I swear for the longest, I thought I was a drug dealer. People would come in my house. I'd step outside with the hoodie on and everything, play a Future, just hand them some cards, grab some money, go inside the house and play Madden.
Wow.
That's so nice.
Was you selling the cards before you started your YouTube? Like, was that a thing that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's what you did. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, not to go back into it, but in between my Nike job and my McDonald's job, I was homeless. Well, actually, the whole time I was homeless, but and then I started to realize, like, hey, I got a lot of valuable cards. I can actually sell them. And then I was like, hey, people sell cards for lower prices. I can buy them from. So like it became like my job from like maybe 10 years or so, maybe a little less, maybe like 8 years. I was just buying and selling Yu-Gi-Oh cards because it was ridiculously easy to get cards at cheap prices and then sell them, for a profit margin. So yeah, that was my thing. And that actually is what kept me afloat while I did YouTube videos. YouTube videos are pretty much just secondary to me. I was just doing them just because I got all this free time and I ain't going to just play Madden all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's really interesting how you had that as your journey, to be honest, because I wouldn't have guessed. It didn't, like, again, it's like when you look at YouTubers, it doesn't necessarily look like stuff is going on behind the scenes. It doesn't necessarily look like you weren't looking at that as a primary source of income. It's just like, oh, this is my YouTuber, this is all he does. But it's interesting to see that there was stuff going on behind the scenes. It's like, it wasn't necessarily just a straight shot like, oh, I'm doing YouTube and now I'm successful. So it's really interesting to see that.
Dog, I didn't even take YouTube I don't want to say serious, but I didn't even take YouTube as any source of income maybe until like 2019.
Wow.
Like,
oh, for real?
Wow.
Yeah, I did not even I was like, this is nothing, man. Because like Yu-Gi-Oh was literally paying my rent. It was paying everything. Yeah. It wasn't doing a great job. I mean, looking back at it, compared to where I'm at now, but it was doing a pretty good job. So like, it paid the bills. So like, what am I doing else? And then, actually 2020, because that's when COVID hit, and I was like, yeah, I could actually like make money off of YouTube, and then YouTube started paying me a whole bunch of money. I'm like, oh wait, hold on, time out. What are we doing here?
Yeah, no, I feel like 2020 was like a really big boom for so many creators because obviously a lot of people were stuck inside due to COVID. Like, I think that was really when I remember like the numbers for a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh channels going up because a lot of people were really getting back into the hobby. But that's a wild story. Like, it's insane that like you say how buying and selling Yu-Gi-Oh cards was paying your rent, because there's a whole subsection of Yu-Gi-Oh dedicated to market, right? Like, I was having this conversation with someone earlier that knowing Yu-Gi-Oh prices, it kind of gets almost like the stock market, right? So
it's better than the stock market.
For real, is that your like opinion on it? Obviously, having been in the game for so long.
Yeah, stock market has validity. There are stocks that you buy and they disappear, and then there's stocks that are what they are. Like, for example, if you take an Amazon stock, like right now, you get a good amount of Amazon stocks. 10 years later, they're going to be worth more. It's either going to be worth more or it's going to be worth nothing. There's no, know it. For Yu-Gi-Oh cards, people think they know the market. And that's what's so crazy, because you got the people that really know the market and people that think they know the market and that know the validity between some of these cards and know that certain cards are volatile and certain cards that will stay up and certain cards that will rise and fall. I actually will 10 times out of 10 stake my entire fortune of $50 to my name, right? On Yu-Gi-Oh 10 times out of 10 over the market. Because at the end of the day, when I retire, I can trade in these Yu-Gi-Oh cards and live the rest of my life. You know what I mean? You can't really do that with every stock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you do it correctly.
No, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
That is, honestly, this is like so this is so interesting to hear about this. Like, so it's like I feel like we're just getting so much insight into like you as a person. Speaking
Do you
on the
mind giving me
Yu-Gi-Oh
1
market.
second, by the way?
Yeah, no
Oh,
worries,
yeah,
no
go
worries
for
at
it,
all,
go
bro.
for it. And so, in the
Yeah.
meantime, I'm going to quickly shoot out a quick question to all of us three guys. So, in terms of decks right now, what decks are we all playing, guys, at the moment?
So I'm thinking for London, I'm going to take Sword Soul because I played it all year. It's very simple. It won't fatigue me, and I can main a load of cards that will hate the meta.
Yeah.
But in my spare time, I'm playing Crystal Cash. Shout out to Neshi. But I'm not prepared to take that to an event because I know that there's going to be so many people hating on Kashtira. But that's kind of what I've been playing for fun. But yeah, Sword Soul at the moment.
I apologize. Somebody was at the door.
No worries, man. No worries at all.
I think the deck that I've been messing about with recently is Ninjas, and boy, like, there's a lot of moving parts in terms of Ninjas. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they do a lot of things, and I think the advantage right now for like Ninjas is that everybody's reading your cards,
Yeah.
and trying to read and then like anticipate plays is a big problem.
Yeah.
As well as Ninjas just being able to do a whole host of things, and the Book of Moon effect is just crazy at the moment. Especially with Kashtira at the top of the format. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
Ninjas.
the question, by the way, Callie, was what decks are everyone playing right now? So and Jimothy, just like you, recently styled on a couple of people in a tournament with ninjas as well. So he was just regaling us with a ninja. But what deck are you playing at the moment, bro?
Well, I mean, I just went undefeated with ninjas and got my invite. I'm already moving on from that deck because it's not bad. It's just, it's almost like Yu-Gi-Oh strategies are like girlfriends to me sometimes.
Wait, break it down for me.
Oh,
You date them, you have fun, and then you move on to the next one. I'm not married to you.
Callie's married to the game, bro.
yeah.
It was a nice time. You stay friends, you keep on moving.
All right, that.
I don't know. I thought the analogy was going somewhere like, oh, sometimes you have 3 decks at once, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, what's going on?
Whoa.
Hey, if they're all willing participants, they might be keepers. I would. That's just personally what I would be saying. I would never not let a woman know what's going on in my life.
So why are you moving on so quickly? Obviously, you was quite successful with it. So like, why just like, all right, I'm done. I'm on to the next one. Is there a particular reason, or just wanted to change?
Because I'm done.
You've had your fun. You're done.
Yeah, well, no, I'm sorry. What I gotta say it in you guys' language. And pardon me if I'm doing it. When you're done using the loo, what do you do? Do you just stay there? Like you're done, right?
Get off and flush the shit.
This is unique. I'm learning more about British culture right now.
All of my thoughts from British culture comes from Tomb Raider. So like I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, one thing I do love is that movies and stuff, they make us look so refined and like posh and stuff.
It's one extreme or the other, don't you think, Babs? They either make us look like, oh, do you do hoity-toity, or they make us look like we've got 5 teeth between us and we don't know what a bath is.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, it's yeah.
Holy.
Deary
Oh,
me.
man.
Have you been to like England before, Callie? Like, I know obviously as a creator, like, are you looking to do YCS London or anything like that?
I would love to go once I finish paying off this house. My wife wants to go a couple of places. I know she wants to go to Egypt. She wants to go to Dubai. I want to go a couple of places, I want to go to the Middle East.
Yeah. It's respectable to have Britain at the bottom of that list.
I mean, to be honest, I don't think it's anything wrong with the place. I just don't. I need a reason to go.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I hear you.
I want to see Mecca, so it's like obviously that's the only reason why I want to go. And Bird, she's just weird. She just wants to go places. You know what I mean?
Cool. I get that.
Me personally, I'd be fine with just going to like Philadelphia or something. In Baltimore, I'd be fine with just staying in the U.S. But no, she wants to internationally travel.
Yeah, definitely.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. It sounds a bit like my wife, to be fair. She loves going like all these different places, and I'm like, Britain's fine. But anyway,
How's the Yu-Gi-Oh in Britain though?
oh, it's You know what, Fabs? You've been to the most tournaments here, like bigger tournaments out of both of us, I think. So I'll let you take this one.
I'll be real, so I used to travel all around UK and do so my job used to be one where I had to go to a lot of different cities, like for client. I used to be a consultant, so I'd go to different cities, and so I'd be in a city and it's like, okay, where's the nearest locals? I'd go there. And I used to say this all the time, and people thought I was just being rude about like their cities and stuff, but there was only like 2 or 3 good cities in the whole of UK at Yu-Gi-Oh! Like genuinely. Like Birmingham,
Wow,
by far is the best. Like I used to live in London, and most of the players in London were horrible. Like it's I'm not atting people. It's not an insult. It's just genuinely true. And the reason being is because I would go to London and I would stomp locals every week. And then
he's
I came to
shooting shots
Birmingham.
at his own city.
Exactly. I'm
whatever.
from London. Like I'm not even being horrible. But then I moved up to Birmingham, and I remember like I didn't win a locals for like a year, bro. Like it was mad. Like the quality and disparity in players of some of the players I'm with. Like there's one guy I refuse to give him a shout out because he's not a very nice person. I think we all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's one guy, and he's an incredible player. Like I just play with him. Sometimes he'll just say something. I'm like, whoa, you're right. And it's like the level of skill, and it's like the group of players that I play with right now. Like none of them are like pro players or anything. They're not like top, like in teams or anything, but they're all very strong players. But it's concentrated in, like, in my opinion, in the West Midlands. That's where a lot of the talent is. So that's why I say it's like a very concentrated talent if you know where to go. But for a lot of cities, like where I was from in London, it was all, I mean, our locals was mainly like kids below like 13 years old. Like, so it's like they're young.
That's crazy.
Yeah, do you get it? Like they'll
Yeah.
turn up with like no sleeves and stuff. But
So they weren't necessarily bad. It was just they were really, really young.
Exactly,
You know how
yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
yeah.
So I've been to a few different locals across the UK because my wife used to live in Derby when she was at uni. So sometimes I go to the locals over there, and then visiting friends. I've hit up a few different locals over there. I'd firmly agree with Fabs in that Birmingham locals is one of the most competitive and like challenging locals that there's been. Like the whole city. I remember in Eternal format, like it was the quality of players was insane. Yeah. Like, and we've had players who've won multiple regionals, players who've topped Nats. Like, even I think there's some YCS tops as well in there. Derby, like shout out Derby, I like it, but I went there and every single match I played was against Lair of Darkness.
Yeah, a lot of rogue players.
Yeah,
rogue players.
That was my reaction
Crazy.
as well.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right, hey, man, look, that's what they want to play.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But JY and Rufio both mentioned Mana Screw Gaming, which I believe is Northampton, and I know for a fact that they've got a great caliber of players. Obviously, like the world's competitor. Shout out JY. You've got the Team Boys. I know there's a lot of people there who have also topped a lot of events as well. Like Jamie Walkinshaw, I believe, goes there. Shout out Jamie the Kid. Aaron Hemman as well, great player. Yeah, I've not been there myself, but I hear that's a good place to go. Okay. But to flip the question, Callie, what is locals like in America?
Very competitive. Out of all of the locals that I've been to, the current locals in the Vegas scene, because I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada, it is one of the most competitive locals, period. And I went to a locals where we had a guy he got second place at Worlds. Players were winning YCS Shonen Jumps. They were topping Shonen Jumps. They were topping regionals, winning regionals here and there. I think the competitive scene in Las Vegas is probably one of the better scenes in the entire West Coast. And that includes California. And California, it's a huge ass place. I think the only reason why they even have great players, and no disrespect to California, I'm from California, but let's be real. Let's keep it a buck. California is big enough to be its entire own nation. Yeah. So, like, what do you expect? At some point in time, there's going to be enough people. But Las Vegas is extremely competitive. California is extremely competitive. From what people have told me, I know for a fact the East Coast, New York, extremely competitive. The Midwest, extremely competitive. Texas, extremely competitive. Just basically every big city and then some of the smaller states, they are extremely competitive. I don't think... Of course, you're going to have shops where it's more casual oriented, but for overall, every time you see a casual shop, you can find a shop where it's, that's where people of high caliber go.
Yeah, definitely.
one thing that I did want to talk about very briefly on this subject is
wait, sorry.
regionals.
Before
Go on,
you
go on,
get
go
into
on.
actually, I want Jimothy to land because I have a feeling I know what he's gonna say, and I want to hear it. Go for it.
So
Go on.
I wanted to ask Callie, like, what's the view of American duelists on some of the UK duelists? Because
Yes.
I'm not gonna shout out no names, but like the UK, England, I've been getting some hate. Like I've heard people say like, so and so's won a YCS, but that doesn't count. It's in the UK. Like, so what's the overall feeling?
You know,
towards,
I hate that. I absolutely hate. Well, let's put it this way: Americans will find a way to discredit whatever you do. So, like, it does not matter. It does not matter. It does not. There are players that are that will discredit Jesse Cotton, and we know he is one of the most successful Yu-Gi-Oh players of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So just ignore all that rah rah. All right, just don't even. but like, there are players that are like, oh, your regional top doesn't count unless it's like top fours. Like, nobody can. My guy, look, success is in the eye of the beholder. If you came into an event, I don't care if you was playing battling boxers, my guy. If you came into the event and you said, hey, I'm here to win 4 rounds, and you win 5 rounds but don't top, you overachieved, my guy. It does not matter, right? If you go to an event and you're like, hey, I'm here to get my invite, and you get your invite, you have overachieved. It does not matter. There are so many people that when you look at your accomplishments, people would trade their careers in Yu-Gi-Oh, if that's what we want to call them, for yours. As long as you're satisfied with them. That's all it is. But with that being said, if you want the honest truth, Americans look at European players like to buy. Like,
Oh yeah.
like the honest truth. And I think that it is the most pompous, arrogant, rudest thing you can do, because we know that there is a few factors in Yu-Gi-Oh. One is skill, one is luck, one is probability and availability. And those factors can all be against you no matter who you play against.
Yeah.
So to sit down against someone and think because he's from somewhere else that you're just a free win is arrogant. It's just, it's
100%.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
But-
I mean that's
Didn't y'all just let an American win a YCS over there last time?
Yeah, Chris decided to come over here and
Ah,
terrorize us.
see,
There we go.
see, this is. I'm trying to help y'all out, but y'all not making it better.
wait. You want about Leon?
Yeah, Chris LeBlanc. He won.
Leon's France, bro. It's not the
It
UK.
didn't count.
It
Do you know,
don't count.
Yeah, nah,
do you know what's funny about that?
count.
Actually, what's his name? Joshua Schmidt was even saying that he didn't even want to play in that event. He was over to. He didn't even really want to play in. So yeah, I feel like a lot of
Anyway,
players are over it, but-
the less we talk about
Ironically,
Chris LeBlanc,
Joshua is
the
one of my favorite competitive players. I really like Joshua.
Yeah.
He's
he's dope.
amazing.
Shout out Schmidt.
Yeah.
But yeah, very quickly, I do just want to ask because for those who don't know, how big is a regional in the USA?
Well, there was. I mean, the smallest one I've been to is maybe like 200 people. The biggest one is 1,000.
So the smallest. Yeah.
smallest.
So for context, like, I don't think I've been to a regional that's been over 150 people in the UK.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have. Like, obviously,
The biggest one we usually have in the UK
it's the Open, right?
is-
Royal Armory, isn't
no,
it?
So I wasn't going to count the Open because I didn't count that as a regionals. It's Royal Armies and Leeds,
Yeah.
and that's usually about 250 people max.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I consider every LA regional a YCS
Yeah,
because it makes me feel better when I top.
And I rate that. And how many people, like on average, would you say how many people do you get at an American locals?
Our before tier limit, the locals that's nearest to me gets around 70 people.
70.
yeah,
Wow.
that's like our regionals, bro.
Yeah.
So
That's
for
why
like,
we're getting hate. That's why
I
we're
mean-
getting hate, isn't it?
It makes sense though. Like when you break it down, it really does make sense because there's more people,
Yeah,
there's more competition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The average locals, not this particular shop, the average locals will get like 35, 40 people. You know what I mean? Anywhere between 25 to 40 people.
yeah.
Like when I was
See, like,
running a locals during COVID, we'd get anywhere between 25 to 40 people. It's a
And that's
lot. It's a little more tame. But
And
that
that's
was
during
like,
COVID as well.
yeah, but that was also, we weren't sanctioned or anything. We were just kind of like buying cases and trying to, do right by the community and stuff.
Like that would be,
Yeah,
that would be
sure.
a big locals for us. I would say 20. Like the one. So Dan, the one Cannock, for example, that used to be, I think, was it 20 people on average, 20 maybe a bit over 20. Like
Yeah, that was like the.
yeah.
But that was like
again-
the same kind of times, wasn't it?
Sorry.
That was like the same kind of times, wasn't it, Canuck? That was like sort of like COVID-y times.
Yeah,
like,
it was a little
but,
bit after, but even before before COVID, it was
Yeah.
like that as well. To be honest.
Like the
But
biggest like locals I think I've been to has probably had about 25 people.
Yeah.
I mean, but we also have to factor in, it's not necessarily about how many people were there. It's about the quality of people.
Definitely.
Exactly.
If I'm going,
100%.
let's say hypothetically, this said 70-man local, which by the way is not true, and I step in for the first 3 rounds, and I'm playing against a layer of darkness, right? Like for the, what
this sounds familiar.
exactly does that mean?
Yeah.
But if you're, you're going to a 20-man locals and you're like, your first round is Kashtira, your second round is Branded, your third round's Labyrinth. Like, I mean, obviously we know that the quality of the 20-man locals is better than said 70-man local. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
unlike what some other people would like to say, size does not matter in this particular situation.
Yeah. Funny enough, interesting enough. So we had a quite a high skill player on a few weeks ago called Ben, and he was even saying that one of the points that he made is that a lot of the like good players, they don't even go to locals. Like the high tier pro players don't necessarily consider locals as good practice. So it's
I haven't been to locals in like
yeah.
2 years.
My gosh. Yeah, so even there, yeah, it's like for yeah, I agree with the whole quality thing because again, it's like sometimes I would go to locals back in the day and it's like I think I'm doing a good job, but generally, yeah, I was playing against fake decks, to be honest. So
Yeah.
Decks.
yeah,
They weren't real.
like literally,
Well-
like people would turn up and it's like, So I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again. I was against a 6-year-old kid, and I remember he sat down
God.
at the table, and it's like he looked at me with this death stare, and he's like, "You know, you're about to lose, right?"
No.
And the thing is,
Yo,
yeah,
You've
like,
not told me
adopt
this
this
story.
kid?
You've not told me this
Can I
story.
adopt this kid?
but do you know what's bad as well? I was like terrified. Like at this point, what was I playing? I think I was playing Dark.
You were
Claws.
terrified of a 6-year-old?
because I think it's the way he said it. I was just so like, what's going on?
Like some Omen shit, right?
yeah.
I love this guy. I love this guy.
But then do you know what happens? He like sets like 2 cards past. I think he sets like 2 cards or something. Passes. Then this turn he flips Eternal Soul or whatever the Dark Magician's trap is, and I was like, oh, he's just played Dark Magicians.
Oh
It's a
man.
bluff.
Oh man. Why you come at my boy like that? He that dude was ready.
yeah.
That
Fuck-
dude was ready.
Fuck Yu-Gi-Oh! My man should have gone into poker.
That dude, bro,
it
he,
rattled me,
he's
man.
going places.
Yeah.
When he lost, I bet you he was upset too. He was like, I can't believe you stacked me. That never happened to me.
He thought you were like a world competitor or
So,
something.
Yeah,
there's
he had to be. Only
I
way.
remember later on actually I gave him a Salamangreat the structured X, and I was like, play this. I was like, try this out because he was playing that a lot, and I was just mad like having that presence as he came and he was like, you're gonna lose. I was just like,
Hey, yo, this man's a competitor, dog. Y'all say that he
Insane.
doesn't count, but he definitely counts.
Yeah.
He's on his villain arc right now. Watch.
Just a quick
Holy.
segue. I think I asked this to a guest that we had on previously. So if you haven't been to locals in like, I don't know, a year or 2 years, like what do you do to test? Because you play a lot of different decks. Cali.
You won't believe what I do. It's crazy. So like, I go to a regional. I have my dog or my cat pick my deck. In the first 3 rounds, I consider them buys, and that's how I figure out the deck.
Is that a legitimate? Because I've seen you do this on your channel. I thought it was just a bit.
Okay. So you guys see me top with Swords Hole, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I got 10th place with Swords Hole. I learned that deck by round 2. I got 60. I counted as a top because there was 1,000 people there. I got like 67th with Dino, right? In the Despia format. That's why I'm like, yo, that counts. Obviously I've been playing Dino for years, so that's fine. What else did I play? I learned Ninja that day. Like I knew what they did, but I didn't know what they did. You know, like there's a difference between knowing what the deck does and understanding the concepts and actually playing the deck and I fully realized that in my last match. I was like, holy shit, I can attack directly. And like I can destroy your cards. Like
You're
it's
wild,
so
bro.
surreal when you have like 5 monsters on the field and they're like 23, 23, 25, 2000, and you have the field spell, and you're like, holy shit, this is gay.
You're a mad guy. You are. Man.
I am not. I strongly think that I would be a way better player if I actually put in the technical effort, because I do make, I'll make a mistake and then immediately it'll go off like, that was a mistake. And I'm like, you goofy goober. But like, I'm so busy making content that I don't afford that luxury of actually being able to get into technical play. But the good thing is that while you guys are working, or while you guys are doing an additional hobby or whatever, or, maybe you're into Yu-Gi-Oh! I've been doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Round the clock. So like, I have a huge advantage over a lot of people just because I see so much and I know so much versus, another player that may just be competitive for this format, or maybe he's been competitive for a few years, or maybe he doesn't know the new line that comes out that makes this deck really powerful.
Yeah, I think this was something that I remember hearing MBT talk about, in the sense that obviously, because MBT does 10-minute testing and things like that, and he was like, because creators spend so much time creating, like it means that sometimes their Yu-Gi-Oh skill like maybe sacrificed, but like he was like my what's what I'm looking for? Like my advantage is because I do 10-minute testing. I have a vague understanding of what every deck in the game does. And I was going to ask you this as well, Callie, because obviously your channel, a lot of your content is not a lot of it, but like a good portion of it is deck profiles. So kind of talk us through how Callie Effect makes a deck profile.
Okay, so I'm not going to tell you something is good without me thinking it's good myself. I play around with the strategy. I get really hyped from it, from beating TJ, which is not hard to do. Oh my God, TJ is like the buy round. If you guys don't give me 1 second, if you don't mind. Okay?
No worries, bro. No worries.
I apologize, guys.
No worries at all.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, watch this. You're gonna be TJ coming through his door now. Like, yo, what'd you say about me?
Sit down in the chair behind him, be like, all right, say that again.
I think that deck choice strategy is the biggest dick energy ever. Imagine all of
That is
the people,
huge.
all of the people just lost to Cali in that regional, guys. Look, you guys must be so offended because Cali learned that deck 2 hours before, and then he clapped you in the regional. That is very sad.
Again, I apologize, guys. I hope you
All
get
good,
it.
man.
No
All
worries,
good.
no worries.
All good.
Anyways, so like after beating TJ because he's the buy, I actually played against good Yu-Gi-Oh players that know what they're doing, like people that top events, people that actually do stuff and win YCSs. And then we go over a build. Sometimes I will enter like a remote tournament or something like that, just to see what's going on. And then from there, I will develop a strategy to see how this deck appeals to you and why you would want to play that deck, and go from there.
Yeah. So what goes into deciding which decks that you actually pick? Like, is it a case of like you look at a deck and think, okay, this will be good for content, or sometimes look at a deck and think, I genuinely really enjoy this deck? Like, are there any deck profiles you've made, or like any decks in particular that you've made profile from, being like, do you know what, I'm just not happy with this? Or reversely, one where you're like, yeah, I'm super, super happy with this. Like, I genuinely believe this is the best way of playing the deck. Like, or is it more of a case that it's down the middle?
What's really crazy is back in my younger, years, and don't let anybody know this, right? Salomon Great, Dino, what else? It was Salomon Great, Dino. Those are the two off the top of my head. I actually did not like those decks. I made them because they were structure decks. They were easy to learn, and I thought that they were good for budget players. Yeah, it was just like, okay, cool. And in those times, there's actually quite a few decks I just made because, like, I understood that people were on a budget. I understood that people may want to know about this deck and that it was, good content for them. But then over time, like, as I started to become successful with the particular strategy, or as people was like, yo, you gonna do an update on that profile? Actually get into the deck. Now, I think, I don't think I've done I can't think of a deck that I've done that I was like, I don't like this deck. Every deck that I pick, I believe it in some type of way. Maybe I believe it is a very, very good budget deck. Maybe I believe it is a extremely good rogue deck. Maybe I think it's the best deck, but I'm not just going to give you anything just for content, especially anymore. I'm giving you because I genuinely think that this deck has its own certain niche in giving you another idea to be able to play a certain deck instead of just playing whatever you might be playing and not be happy with now.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Makes sense, man. The only reason I ask that is because obviously I've seen you do. If there's a deck out there, Callie's probably got a profile on it. Like,
probably, yeah.
Yeah, I remember there was a meme on your channel a few years back about like that you wouldn't do a true Draco deck profile or something like that.
Bro, I hate those people, man, because I love True Draco. I love True Draco. It's just I accept that it's not a great deck.
Yeah.
I did a profile just recently because at the time Yu-Gi-Oh was like getting really expensive, right?
Yeah.
Like inflation was killing us all. And like the entire deck was $50. So I did a deck profile on that, but I love True Draco.
Bro,
but
same.
yeah, I get that a lot. Kelly won't do a deck profile on this. It happens all the time.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. I can
I
imagine.
want True Draco to be good so bad, but it's just
I want it. It's so nice looking, but it could never be good because the cards that would make it good would probably make too many other decks good.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And every time you see someone do like one of these ban list tournaments where they release a load of cards, True Draco always ends up in the top cut. So the deck's still super strong.
Oh, where?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
the last time I did one, it did end up in the top cut. Like
yeah.
it wound up getting slaughtered.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like because we do a lot of internal ones when I make like a perfect forbidden list or whatever, or like if we want to just test out, ban lists. And Thunder Dragon Colossus, which is why it's always on my perfect forbidden list. And normally, Spellbook Judgment, because we knew the card was trash for like 3 years. We're normally completely off my forbidden list or off the forbidden list in some capacity, alongside like Orcus Harp Horror, because they underperformed so badly alongside of True Draco. But I don't think I've gave them 3 Diagram and 3 Masterpiece ever.
Okay.
Yeah, like if you might be right. If you guys had access to 3 Diagram and 3 Masterpiece, that sounds
changes the deck a lot.
100%.
Yeah, that does change. I think it was always like 1 and 2 or something like that, or 1 and 3.
Yeah.
Makes it a bit more like fair, I guess.
Yeah. So, yeah, you might be. You know what? I could see it happening because Masterpiece is good.
Yeah.
Like just strictly because you contribute spell and trap cards. It's good.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. I think that's the better effect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, go on, Fabs.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask a question actually because I like that we're talking about decks now.
Shoot.
So Kashtira. So this is a 2-sided. We all I think are aware of the last 3v3 YCS where we had the first place team was a team of 3 Kashtira decks. And so, what is firstly our opinion right now? And I guess this is for everyone. What is our opinion right now on Kashtira, on the format and how it is? Do we like this format better than last format as well? I guess
I love this format over last format.
100%. Yeah, I'm on
in comparison.
Yeah,
I mean, like unless you like tier 0 formats, which as a competitive player, I probably would like a tier 0 format, but as a content creator, I would hate a tier 0 format for obvious reasons. Tier 0 formats drive down engagement. Nobody wants to be forced to play one deck and one deck only.
Yeah.
Kashtira is one of the most fair competitive Yu-Gi-Oh decks since last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like that you had the caveat since last year. Yeah, I was about to get worried.
Last year was ridiculously fair, was it not? Brandon and Sword Soul were the best decks, Therion and all that other stuff. We had problems. We had like Destiny Hero, Destroyer, Phoenix Enforcer, and the Adventure Engine.
Oh
like,
my gosh. Yeah.
And the side
those
block
aren't
as well.
those aren't really problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like there was a really good format in comparison to when Sprite and Tier Element came. And Sprite actually Sprite could have been better had Konami did what Master Duel did. Take care of I might not agree so much with banning Totally Awesome, but whatever it would have took to tone down Sprite to the other decks, it would have been perfectly fine.
Yeah, yeah. And the funny thing about Sprite, I would say as well, is even now, the only reason why I feel like Sprite hasn't got more attention is just because there's always been something stupidly more ridiculous above it. So like now Kashtira before Tier Elements, but yeah, Sprite is just.
I think Sprite is just solid.
Solid as in well balanced, or solid as in do you think Sprite is fair?
Well balanced now.
I actually think Sprite is. Do you know what changed my mind on that? I used to think Sprite was kind of okay, and then when Ninja Shadow Mosquito came out, it really frustrated me.
And then you said what?
Ninja Shadow Mosquito. It's a rank 2 that Sprite play, and basically it's a ninja card. It lets you attack into your opponent, and then they take the damage instead of you, or you both take damage.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And the reason why it frustrated me is because what I liked about Sprite is I felt like they had a consistent weakness where it was like, okay, they can't
Weak
really,
monsters
yeah,
can't
they
do
can't,
much. Yeah.
yeah. But the presence of that just basically meant that the Sprite player just gets the OTK pretty much through anything if they really want to through Ninja Shadow Mosquito, and that really frustrated me. I think that
It is
Or
jarring.
just draw the out. Just draw the out.
Draw it out.
exactly. Like
What's
just
the
having
problem here?
purples, yeah. And I think
Just
yeah.
don't let them summon twos.
That's definitely what, yeah. Oh, and the other thing as well, the Tier Elements did it more. Is it really upsets me that pretty much any 3 monsters is full Sprite combo. That's very.
Okay, I'll give you that.
That
That
hurts
that
my
is a
heart.
little frustrating.
Yeah, every time
I think that the banning of Sprite Elf was actually more healthy than just like hitting Tier Element.
Yeah.
Because now Sprite decks, they're a little less splashable.
Mm-hmm.
The Gishki Sprite deck was like, that was Tier 0 status.
that was nuts.
Like that deck was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
I was like, yo, like I was looking at the boards. I'm like, how do you counter this? Like, this is just stupid.
yeah,
So I think you have a point. Sprite is like any deck that like anytime we get a new level 2 or rank 2 or any type of 2, we gotta literally look over our shoulder every time Sprite comes out, and that's not healthy.
that's not good. Yeah.
But at the same time, like right now, we can let's take out Kashtira.
yeah,
Sprite still isn't the best deck in the format.
no, not at all. And which I do like. I really like the fact that it's actually quite a varied field. Like I think even what's it, Dark World topped at Vegas, Naturia Runic topped. Yeah, like it is
Like
quite
so many
varied.
strategies were successful. Like there was a ton of strategies, and that brings me back to like this is one of the better formats since last year, where we understand that X deck is the most powerful deck in Yu-Gi-Oh, right? And fortunately enough, Konami has made X deck like how Branded was a glass cannon, and there's so many ways to be able to combat X deck. It makes the format feel fun and enjoyable. Like, I mean, think about it, guys. I went undefeated and got an invite with ninjas. Ninjas.
Right, man.
What are ninjas? Like, come on, ninjas? Seriously. Like, really? Next is going to be Evil Eye, right? Like, come on. Like, it's kind of ridiculous right now. And that's the beauty of Yu-Gi-Oh! We couldn't have done that in the tiers format.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think my biggest issue is the way that Konami's gone about it. I know they wanted to implement change, but I just don't like the way that the Kashtira deck plays. Like, just banishing cards face down so you can never retrieve them again.
Yeah,
I don't
hated
think that's
that.
fun. I don't think that's fun. I understand that it's counterable and I get it, but like just removing cards from a player and then saying
Face
you're not going to
down
play
to
either because all your zones are locked.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't think that's fun and interactive Yu-Gi-Oh, regardless of how counterable the deck is. Do you know what I mean?
It isn't, but I was watching Ryan Levine's profile. Obviously, he played Kashtira at the 3v3, and he was saying like he rarely ever went into like the mind hacker or like trying the full zone lock because I've been testing Kashtira over the last couple of days because tournaments coming up. I want to test my options, and the deck is actually kind of fun to play if you.
It is. It's very.
Yeah, it is fun to play, but to be honest, a lot of my lines I wasn't like trying to zone lock 9 zones. I was literally just setting up a couple of zone locks here, maybe like an Arise Heart, and then that's that. I think if you ban Mind Hacker, Kashtira becomes just so much better. Like, not better as in obviously competitively, but like, yes, that's the right word.
You actually played into what I've been saying since the beginning of this format. It's crazy.
really.
Like, so I was talking to Top Deck TJ, and I really wish I put it on YouTube because so people normally drag me in the comments, and then when I wound up being right, I can make a video about it and just be right. I was saying the best variant of Kashtira wasn't actually a zone lock Kashtira because you don't put up any interruptions. Like it don't get me wrong, it's cute and it's cool to zone lock your opponent, but not only does it not happen often, you play into Nibiru every single time and you lose to a Winged Dragon Ra or a Lava Golem. So
I was about to say you can spend all that time locking zones for it to not mean anything. All you do is waste time, or you can just set up a relatively decent mid-range board and then have some sort of crap back.
Exactly. And then like what makes it worse is that the standard line is just 3 zones. I only need 2 zones to like. What are we talking about? Like that's not anything. And in the huge line, don't get me wrong, it does it, but if they break your board, you lose. Like, there's no way around it. If they give you a ball boy, game's over. Like,
I think with a deck like if you're specifically going to lock every single zone, I think the risk of that justifies the reward for me. I'm not saying that it's a healthy way to play, because I think that zone locking is like it's a bit mad, but you know what? I would rather face 10 rounds of Kashtira than 10 rounds of a Shizu tier, and I think that's what it boils down to.
Agreed.
And Kashtira is not even tier 0, so
One thing I would definitely say about tier compared to Kashtira is like tier might not actually lock all your zones or take your monsters, but you're still losing. It's just pretending that you can play, and then they yours and you lose.
You're fake playing.
Yeah,
fucking jars me about Shizu tier. That's what fucking jars me.
Yeah, it's like
They'll set up an M board of like Sprite Elf Pass, and you'll be like, oh, is this it? This deck's meant to be.
It's easy.
Yeah.
And then they start going to Shizu shufflers, right? Like they start reduring you. You're just like, dog, like let me play.
Yeah, you'll draw your card and you'll be like standby, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, and then they'll set up like a board, and it's like, it's not even that they've set up the board. It's like, can I just fucking play a card?
So I went to YCS Leon, and this was YCS Leon was very depressing for me, because the new branded stuff came out. I was like, finally, I get to play. Look, I've got full max rarity Albaz. I've got the ulti Albaz's, everything. I was like, I get to play full power. So I played against a tier player. In my turn, he made Rue Kalos Drag Stapelia, and it was like, well, I guess I didn't do it. On my turn.
Yeah, like, turns off half the board breakers.
This is when you're summoning monsters, more monsters than me on my turn. Like that's a problem.
Yeah, literally. Like I think I normal summoned the Luba, and I was like, I thought, okay, yeah, Brand Diffusion, activate, had my Mirror Jade, and then and I was like, oh, end main, and then he just starts doing stuff, shuffles all my cards back, and then he's done that in my turn. It goes back to his turn. He's still got 5 cards in hand as well.
And he's like, you can't play on my turn? Like just play on my turn, forehead. Duh, that's how Yu-Gi-Oh is. Activate your happiness.
When that happened, I was just like, you know what? I'm over this. This is tier can go. Konami can hit every single card in tier.
And what's crazy is like, to address the Arise Heart situation, the Kashtira banish face down. What I have found to be about that is that it is like Arise Heart, their best card, is so incredibly balanced. It's like not even funny. It's like mandatory to activate. Like it triggers so many things, and even when you want to stop, like when you don't want to use Arise Heart or when you don't want to use certain card effects, you like must, and you can take full advantage of that. So don't get me wrong. Like banishing face down. I want because how long have you guys been playing?
I've so like 10 years.
I've been playing for around competitively. I think I've been playing for around 5 years.
And I've been here for a while, but competitively for about 3 years.
So you guys are babies. All right. So back in my day, back in my day. Before it was named Banished, it was named Removed from Play.
Yeah.
And Removed from Play used to be called Removed from the Game.
Yeah.
And basically what Removed from the Game means, you ain't getting it back, right?
Yeah.
So I think now we look at Removed from Play and it's just like, that's like the third graveyard. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's going to take a little bit of time, but I think Banished Face Down is going to be coming closer to Removed from Play. Like it's going to catch up. So it might feel bad right now, just like how Removed from Play did before, but it's going to catch up.
And that's the thing, because I don't find that part of their play the most. Like I don't find the fact that they're removed from playing it itself annoying. I think that's okay. I just don't like them doing it before I've got to touch my deck. That's when it upsets me. Like it's like
I hate that it messes with your deck building. Like you have to play multiple copies of a card just in case it gets banished face down.
That's what.
Maybe I'm biased because I'm your average runic enjoyer, but it's not even that part of Kashtira that pisses me off. It's Diabolus. That card just pisses me off. It's like
you deserve it. You deserve it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I don't get any more.
To us too, Dan, you've been doing that to us too. So.
I hope every single game they get the full Kashtira lock and take away your entire spell and trap card zones, all of them. Every game.
Bro, I'm not on Runic anymore, man. I'm changed. Allow me.
Yeah, no. There's no redemption arc for Runic players. It doesn't exist.
Right, guys, so what we're gonna do, we're coming up on the hour mark, so we're gonna do the fabled, the amazing section called Am I the Arsehole? So just as a quick intro to this, Callie, on Reddit there's this subreddit called Am I the Arsehole, and people tell stories about things they've done, and then they'll basically ask the audience if we think they're the arsehole or not. So Yeah, we're going to go for this one. And the title of this one, I thought it was really interesting, is Am I the arsehole for telling my husband I'd lose respect for him if he stopped working even though I could afford it? So.
Oh, actually, no, you're not.
So
not even close.
Let me read the story and then
there's a story. Oh, my apologies.
Story behind it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, spill the sauce. Let's go. Hold on. Let me.
So, I've been with my husband for like 10 years. When we met, we both had crappy jobs and agreed it would be 50-50 struggling together. As of the last 3 years in particular, my career took off and my pay has skyrocketed, and this will be my first year making 6 figures. It's cool and I've offered to take on a lot more of the finances and more of the bills and paying for trips and things, but recently my husband made a comment about soon he won't have to work at his job. Our kids are school age, so there's no need for a full-time parent, and I never agreed to this. So I said, I never dreamt of financially providing for a grown man. If you stop working, I will lose respect for you. He got silent and he asked I asked if he understood and if we were on the same page, and he said yes. Was I off? How do couples in these situations handle it? Blah, blah, blah. But basically, am I the asshole for telling my husband I'd lose respect for him? So what do we think? I'm loving that, bro.
No, not even close.
Loving it.
So the first thing is, you guys have anything to say?
I want to let you land it first.
Go for it.
As men, women, and we can say most women. I'm not going to say all women. Mm-hmm. Most women look at us as providers and protectors. Am I incorrect on that?
100. Okay, 100%.
I agree.
Keep it coming.
I mean, most women will look at us as that, right? So if this woman is with you and has agreed to go 50-50 and has made more money, but has decided to take on more responsibility, there's nothing wrong with that. But to think that you can immediately become a housewife is just a little alert. She literally, what would have been correct of her to do is, despite her making more money, she should have stayed 50-50. It's 50-50, right?
Yeah.
But you want to take advantage of her making more money by not working? I don't know if y'all allow cursing or anything, but that is some.
No, go on.
That is some hoe shit. That is 100% some hoe shit. What you mean you ain't gonna work, boy?
Yeah.
Look, 100% agree. But before I say anything, I want to check, Dan. What is your opinion? Because I have a feeling you don't fully agree that he's the asshole, or you do agree that she's slightly asshole.
No, do you know what it is? Like, I'm going to shock you here, Fabs. Like, obviously, I don't fall into this conversation really, but I think if you're married to someone and you've been struggling in it, and like you've come up together, for you to see the other half of your partnership like succeed so much, and you're like, yeah, let me just ride off the back of this. Just fuck you, innit?
That's what I'm like. It wasn't like, hey, baby, I want to find a new job. Hey, I want to take some time off. It was just like, yo, you making all the money, ain't gonna have to work no more. Like, what?
Yeah, that's if it was a situation where the husband was like, I've lost my job, like my mental health is fucked or whatever else, and she's like, okay. Time. Yeah. And she's like, okay, cool. Let me, like, you've been there for me. Let me be there for you. If it's something that she's like, I'll do this for you if you need it, then different in it. Or if it's a case where they have young kids and he's doing up my wife and kids, then it's, yeah, sure, calm, whatever, do you think?
Yeah.
But for him to just say, oh, you're rich, let me just right off your... Fuck off, man. You're a dickhead.
That's weird. It's weird. To be honest, I wouldn't even be mad at her if she lost respect right there, because like if there was like most of my, well, not most, but like when I was working at like the jobs or whatever, my wife was making more money than me, and I was upset. Like she was perfectly fine with it, but I was upset because I wanted to be the one to pay, all of the bills and have money left over, and then be like, your money means nothing. You know what I mean? I wanted to do that. So to come in and I'm still paying all the bills and everything, but like, it's like, you're still making more money than me. And then she tried to, she obviously didn't do it on purpose. She only meant well. She was like, you don't have to work. She'll take care of me. I took that as an insult. Yeah. And I took that as an insult because biologically, how I am, I want to provide for my family. I want to protect and provide. So for somebody to literally do the flip side, to be like, hey, baby, you making all this money, ain't gonna have to work no more. Like what?
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah. I want to preface as well.
Right there, I wouldn't have been mad.
Yeah.
I want to preface as well. This isn't gender inclusive in it. If you got yourself a girl who's doing the same thing, then
oh no. I have a couple of friends. One of them, his wife is a doctor, and he does all of the, he takes care of the house and everything. That man is as happy as he could be, and I'm so happy for him. Yeah. He loves it.
Yeah.
That's
I
always say, like, if that's what you want to do in your life, feel free, like, move on. That's your
go through in it.
But whatever YouTube, whoever is involved agrees with it, it is what it is.
Calm in it.
But then it's like at the same time, it can't run. Like, so I had a very similar situation to you, Kylie. Like during COVID, I lost my job. My wife was the main breadwinner, and I hated it. I hated it so
exactly.
much.
It drives, even though they don't throw it in your face, you throw it in your face,
like,
right?
She would even be nice about it. She never made me. But in my head, I was like, this can't work. It's like I even felt ashamed because I was like, I told your mum that I was going to take care of you, and here I am, and I'm the one who's asking you. No, it can't work. And it's like I say all the time to my wife, like I love my wife. I want her to do what as well, but I want to do better. I want the exact thing you said about your paycheck. Like you want her money to not matter. Yeah, I want my paycheck to be so. I don't see it as I want me and my wife to be pushing each other to be better. I want to be up here. And she's
exactly.
I have
yes,
to be
King. Yes,
King. That's how I see it. Yeah, and it's not. Yeah. Anyway, Jimmy,
I'm thinking about this differently. You know why? Because I'm thinking like, all right. So he said he's not going to work, but he didn't even discuss it with her. So the respect is gone from there. I just think if I was in that position and my wife came home and said, babe, I'm not going to work no more because you're earning the money, I'd be like, go and get yourself to McDonald's. Go and get yourself a job.
You know, crazy. I ain't gonna cap. If the role was reversed on me, I actually I wouldn't sweat. Like just recently, my wife, she feels similar to how you guys feel. Like if she's not contributing anything, she's not doing anything. I had to get her fired. Like it took some elaborate shit for me to get her fired. Just to be like, you're not working. Like it's not happening. Like it's crazy. But
you are a riot.
My wife, keep in mind, my wife. All right, if my wife was like, yeah, I don't feel like working no more, I'd be like, all right, cool. I don't really care. But like, if it was like a girlfriend, nah.
Yeah.
Where you gonna live?
I think it's interesting that like we're all talking about this because correct me if I'm wrong, we're all married, right?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. So like obviously like it is what you say. If it's a wife or like a husband or a civil partner or whatever,
significant other. Yeah,
exactly. Like then obviously that is a bit deeper in it. Like you have that mutual respect and like I'm backing Jimothy on this. Like how has he got how have you got the balls to go and say that to your wife, bro?
Yeah. The fact that he just literally,
audacity.
I'm not gonna work no more soon. Like
that's what I'm saying.
And this is also one place I'll say that like,
already bought.
Yeah, and this is somewhere I'd say that gender roles actually do matter because if a girl comes and says it, a girl at least it's like you can get pregnant. So it's like there's something practical you'll bring to the table that a guy got. As a guy, what are you doing at home all day then? You just like what are you doing?
I mean, look. Guys, let's be real. Do you guys clean the house or take care of the inside of the house as well as your significant other?
Way. I clean. I try.
That's why she was like. That's why if she's like, I'll just stay. I'm like, I already know. Like I can't do that. I'm just not good at it. I'm just simply not good.
I'll tidy the kitchen and then my wife goes and does it a 10-time better job than me. I try it, but
and you're like, how did you do that?
She's just better than me at it.
See, like I do the majority of housework.
Oh, so you're better than her?
Yeah, well, I don't want to say. There's a
level of attention to detail.
He ain't trying to call her out. Is she nearby? Week twice if they're nearby. Week twice.
She asleep. But no, like I fucking hell. Whatever works for you in it, though. You're right. Whatever works for you. Like my wife is a nurse. Like for context, like she has a much more taxing job than I do. So I do what I do to make sure that she can come home and have an easy day.
And again, it's
nothing wrong with it.
On an individual scale, there will always be exceptions to the rule. But yeah, just on average, most girls have better attention to details than guys. It's a skill that most girls have.
Yeah.
And so. Most of the time they're gonna do that better job than you.
I'm like completely terrible. Like I'll be looking for something for like days, and she'll just go pick it up. And it's like, here it is. Like,
I'll do that too.
I don't know.
Yeah.
See, hey, you're one of the rare ones that actually got pay attentionism in their head. I don't know how it works for you.
I take that.
Yeah.
Oh man, this has been such a pleasure, Callie. Thank you so much for coming on. Before we
Thank
go,
you so much for having me.
No worries at all. Before we go, do you have any shout outs or anything like that? Anything you promote or anything like that?
No, well, really, I just want to thank you guys so much for waiting. That was pretty dope for you guys. I hope to be back, maybe for other video series or whatever. I'd appreciate that. That would be dope. If there's anything you guys need, just you got all my information. I also want to shout out to that bum Top Deck TJ. If you guys haven't subscribed to his channel, go ahead and subscribe to his channel. He's a bum. And also subscribe to this channel because this is also another awesome channel.
Yes. Thank you so much, Callie. And let us know as well. Before we started recording, we were running joke because obviously you'll have seen the episode with Trell from Team APS when this comes out. If you want to see an episode with Callie and Trell, let us know and we can try and make that
Those
happen.
two things can't exist at once.
In the same place.
Yeah, I know.
Have we ever seen them in the same room, guys?
Let's find out.
Ironically, he lives in what? I think he lives in he's either in North Texas or Southern Louisiana, like wherever they connect or whatever. He's right there, and I've never been there. So, like, no, we've never been in the same place. And he goes to all of the East Coast places for, like, regionals and stuff in Texas, and I stay primarily on the West.
Wow.
So, like, no, we've never met. I've never met Paul. I never met any of them. But when I meet them, I am saying the N-word so many times around them. They're going to be uncomfortable. I'm going to bring back slavery the way I'm going to say it around them.
Sheesh. On that bombshell.
Love it. Thank you guys. This was the Yu-Gi-Oh show. An awesome episode. Thank you, Callie Effect, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.